This is Not Worth Living, a podcast that features creatives interviewing themselves with a preset list of questions. Unlike other podcasts that feel like conversation between friends, this one aims to feel like eavesdropping on a psychiatrist's visit. Today's episode features...
Hi, my name's Slayton-Joslin. I'm the author of Sequel Land, a non-fiction book about horror movies, and a collection of poetry called Kicking Prose. What makes you tick? I'm never really sure about this, and I think the only consistent thing about me is my inconsistencies with this. Sometimes I'll be vocal about not liking something and then end up loving it later on. I'm not quite sure how to vocalize what I like, but I tend to like things made for other weirdos, kind of very things that bubble beneath the surface of consciousness and then come without an explanation and show these weird ideas. I kind of never really know what I like, but I can tell by how I respond to it that I love it. Sometimes I feel like my brain is just a cocktail that's had random things poured in and shaken up, and that's the result. Would you open an envelope with your death date? Yeah, absolutely. If I didn't, I feel that I'd be anxious and guess and wonder when it was. Also, if I knew when it was, it would almost be like invincibility till then, right? I'd be doing anything that I wanted, and I know that wouldn't be the day I die. So I think either way, there's probably an upcoming sense of dread, but at least with one of the ways, it's almost like a superpower. What was the first time you remember creating something intentionally? I remember giving my mum a short story I wrote as a kid. I think it was Mother's Day or her birthday. Anyway, rather than some kind of whimsical and cute story, I actually wrote her fan fiction of The Matrix. So, very lucky woman. After that, I remember as I was older finding submission calls and finding things more interesting, and I kind of grew up playing video games and watching movies and didn't even read books frequently until I was older, and I never had the tools to make a game or make a movie, so writing just kind of became the way for me to explore the things I had in my head. What keeps you motivated? I'm not sure if something does. I really go through peaks and troughs. I find that the two best creative impulses I've had over the last year or two come from either spite or admiration, whether it's reading a book and knowing that it was so good that I'd like to try something similar and see if I could create and elicit those feelings in others, or I remember reading a book in the last year and I thought, oh, I could do this better. And kind of that led me to feel more confident about creating. Who inspires you at the moment? Probably the same people who did before. I'm always into kind of contemporary American writers. Scott McClanahan, Atticus Lish, Dennis Cooper. Just great contemporary writers, really. I've been loving literary fiction recently, and as boring an answer this is, or maybe it's not boring and it's bold and controversial because it seems like horror fiction is all the rage at the moment, but I really find kind of joy in things that are driven by characters and eliciting response and emotion, stuff like that. So I guess, yeah, I know lots of fiction comes from a place where you're trying to find out what it means to be alive, but I like people who discuss that more. What's your latest project? At the moment, nothing. I've had a few years where I didn't write much because I thought I wanted to be a career person until I realized that I fucking hated that. And, it's not that I kind of never wrote anything during that time, but not things that are still here or that I'm still pushing forward. It was just kind of life got in the way. Recently I finished a novel, but I feel it was more to get me back in the game and to practice writing than to get published. And I'm just trying to post more on Substack and write more in general. But, I'm kind of making notes on a new novel, and hopefully someone out there wants to buy it. And I think maybe some of my old books are out of print and I should get them back in print too. I'm no exciting new releases to come, but I'm working towards hopefully having something in the future. If money was no object, what would be your dream project? I'd like to revisit some of the places I've lived and walk around the towns and explore the memories that come to me, to kind of see what's changed about those places and how I've changed and the conflict that comes as a result. My memory feels like a strange thing, like almost I can't remember the last 5 years of my life, or before the last 5 years of my life. And when I think about significant time periods of my life, it feels like a different person, like I've inherited memories. So the ability to kind of go back to some of these places and walk around and see what they inspire and to try and document them, that's something that's really personal and exciting to me. But, I kind of live very far away from some of the places I've lived before. So, if there's a literary sugar daddy out there who wants to help, that would be appreciated. Would you be friends with yourself? I think I'd be an acquaintance. I'd say hello in the hallway or raise a glass in a bar, but sometimes, kind of, I feel like maybe two identical versions of myself might be like two magnets, just pushing each other away. What would you like your epitaph to say? Probably nothing of exciting, just quite matter of fact, who I was, the dates I lived and when I died. Anything else can probably speak for itself. If I have to be the one to dictate it, then it's probably not worth being remembered, kind of. If there's something I am going to be remembered by, other people should say it rather than me being the decider.